Welcome to Speak for Yourself. I'm Jason Whitlock. That's Marcellus Wiley, that dude. Coming up, we'll tell you if the defending champion Eagles are done.
And if Tom Brady is starting to show his age. But we start every day with a Whitlock. So what you got today, big dog?
I wasn't impressed last night. The Dallas Cowboys beat the defending Super Bowl champions on the road last night. The Cowboys saved their season and humbled the Eagles 27-20. Jerry Jones couldn't contain his joy.
You're feeling low and you've seeing the Grim Reaper, and then come in and have your team perform the way these guys are. I'll promise you, it is a special feeling. It is a lift, and you're absolutely right. I won't need any wings on that airplane to get back to Dallas tonight.
Yeah, I get it. Had the Cowboys lost last night, their season would have been over, and Jerry would have to turn into the Grim Reaper. He would be faced once again with the hardest job in sports. He would have to fire some employees, not immediately, but at the conclusion of the season. Last night allowed Jerry to go to bed with delusional visions of Jason Garrett turning this entire season around, and Dak Prescott justifying Jerry's determination to give the third-year quarterback a contract extension. Jerry Jones really likes Jason Garrett, and he absolutely loves Dak Prescott. I wasn't impressed with either one last night, and I'm convinced one or both will need to be fired when this season is over. Sorry, Jerry. The Dallas defense carried Garrett and Prescott last night. The Cowboys have a playoff-worthy defense. The Cowboys can pressure the passer with their front four. Their linebackers are physical and fast. They have a shutdown corner and adequate safeties. Jerry has given his team the ingredients for another doomsday defense. He's also given his team enough ingredients to field an explosive offense. Zeke Elliott is as good as any running back in the league. Dallas's offensive line is still formidable. And now with Amari Cooper, the boys have a #1 receiver. You need the right head coach and quarterback to pull this thing together. Cowboys don't have it. Dak takes too many bad sacks. He's the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. That makes no sense given his offensive line. He's reluctant to pull the string. He's not accurate enough to throw receivers open. In the NFL, you have to throw the ball to covered receivers. It's what makes a quarterback exceptional. Dak's not accurate, so he holds the ball and takes sacks. He's been sacked 32 times. He's thrown the ball 273 times this season. Drew Brees, Andrew Luck, and Ben Roethlisberger have thrown it a combined 1,044 times and have been sacked a total of 31 times. Oh, you think I cherry-picked those three? Cam Newton and Patrick Mahomes have thrown it 637 times and been sacked 34 times. That's an indictment of Dak and the offensive coaching staff. Dallas has the perfect safety valve in Zeke. The high sacks are inexcusable. The Eagles sacked Dak 4 times last night. This game should have been a blowout. Garrett mishandled the time management late in the first half, and I'd love an explanation on why and how Zeke only carried the ball 19 times when he averaged 8 yards a carry and the Cowboys played with the lead all night. It's impossible to win consistently in this league when your head coach and quarterback are average. The Cowboys did not impress me last night. All right, joining the desk now are Fox NFL analysts Tony Gonzalez and Greg Jennings. Marcellus, start with me. I saw nothing last night other than the Cowboys defense that impressed me. Nothing that made me believe Cowboys are going to get it together this year.
Well, I just saw your face on Jerry Jones. You talking about the Grim Reaper right there. With your face on Jerry body? Oh, my goodness. I absolutely agree with you. Delusional. If you went to bed last night in a zero-sum game of football where every day you're going through the process, whether it's practice or a game, coach says, do you get better or did you get worse? And I'm looking at this team, even though they got a win, I feel worse about this team in terms of confidence because this was an underachieving Dak Prescott, even though this was a still good game for him based on his standards. It brings me back to the old adage that war can't be avoided, just postponed. Jerry Jones has a war on his hands, and it's with his head coach and Jason Garrett, and it's with his star quarterback, Dak Prescott. You're just trying to postpone the inevitable, which is you got an average coach who can control a locker room, who I think he should be in priority over Dak Prescott, who no matter what you throw at him, no matter what you give him, you're going to still go out there and see a performance like that. Like you said, it's processor. Why are you taking these sacks? You see him in great field position. Why aren't you continuing to move the chains? And you see a running game where you're like, continue to ride that guy. It's 8 yards a carry. All those things add up to me to say that this Dallas Cowboys team doesn't know which way is up, and I don't think they ever figured it out with those two as key principles.
Yeah, for me, it didn't give me more confidence in the Garrett Prescott era moving forward. But I don't think that Jerry Jones is delusional. I think he's just being unrealistic. When you look at the National Football League right now, you can't win with the type of play that Dak Prescott has put on the football field unless your defense plays completely lights out week in and week out.
Right.
And Ezekiel Elliott does what he did last night every single game for here on out. And in my opinion, that's unrealistic when you look at the rest of their remaining schedule. When you got to compete against Kansas City, the Rams, the Steelers, the Saints, all these high-scoring profile offenses, and you have a quarterback that has a weapon now in Amari Cooper, we've seen it, but can't really get them the ball, I'm not realistic. I think it's unrealistic.
My thing is this: when you look at Jerry Jones, I don't think he wants a different coach in there. And I asked this question on the show, on our kickoff show. You think Jerry Jones, if you told him, hey, you know what, you can have a Super Bowl team if you get out of the way. If you stop doing your radio show, you don't be the GM, and you get out of the way, would you want a Super Bowl? Would you take it? I don't think he would, because this is I don't think he's dumb. He knows what he's doing. This guy's been around a long time. I believe that he wants to, he can't have another coach come in there. Jason Garrett, who is he going to get that's going to come in and let him act the way he acts? Who's going to deal with that? These coaches, it doesn't work. He tried it with Parcells, and it didn't work.
Well, hold on. I want to be clear on how Jerry acts. To me, and Jerry's the GM, he's making the decisions, or his son is, whomever, they built a solid defense.
Yeah, but
you
now
got to
you need a
give them
coach.
credit for that.
And offense.
They built a solid offensive line, great running back. I like the Amari Cooper move right now.
Yep.
Jerry's giving them the pieces. He's got a blind spot when it comes to this coach, and particularly when it comes to this quarterback.
But why does he have a blind spot when it comes to this coach? Well, that is my thing. I'm saying because I'm thinking if a good coach comes in there, he's going to have to get out of the way. My thing is this: I don't think Jerry wants to get out of the way, and this is what Starbuck is saying. I think, and Troy Aikman is saying that something's dysfunctional. That is the dysfunctional piece to me, because they got the players, they got everything you need, because he's good at that. But can he get out of the way?
Not the first time we've seen this. No shots at Kobe Bryant, but there was a moment of truth for Kobe Bryant in his young career, him and Shaq having their issues. And I remember hearing the statement, do you want to win, or do you want to be the reason we win? And there's a subtle difference. Like, do you just care if we win, no matter who gets the love, who gets the accolade, or you want it to come through you in a winning effort? And it seems like Jerry Jones has shown that I want to be the reason we win, because he went through winning 3 or 4 Super Bowls with Jimmy Johnson. And Jimmy Johnson said, this is perfect. Well, he won 2 with Jimmy. And Jimmy's like, this is perfect. And Jerry's like, it'd be better if you say my name. It'd be better if you give me some credit. It'd be better if you just respect the other name on the check. And Jimmy was like, man, let me just be a football coach and let you be an owner. And that was a point of contention. And I still think that he is living in that mental space. Like, I have to be part of this reason, a large part of us winning.
Listen, y'all are beating up on Jerry a lot, and maybe he deserves it. But I was listening to that game, and a lot of times you can pick up through the broadcasters what the conversation is in the building. Because the broadcasters get all this access
They have the production
beforehand.
meetings.
They have the production meetings. And so I listened to Chris Collinsworth's commentary last night.
Come on.
And to me, there's a dispute right now between the coaching staff and Jerry Jones about the quarterback. If you listen to Chris Collinsworth last night, he consistently pointed out, can't take that sack, you got to get rid of the ball. Oh, when they go back and look at this film and he missed this guy wide open, he's going to regret that. And so all last night I thought fairly, he wasn't unfair at all, Chris Collinsworth was pointing out the shortcomings in the quarterback. And at one point he said, Scott Linehan has said, if we could just get rid of the ball and just line up on second down rather than taking this sack.
Jason, I 100% agree with you. There was one moment in that game where Chris Collinsworth went back, like probably another series, a series prior, when Dak Prescott had Michael Gallup, the young rookie, and he threw it to him, and then he got pushed out of bounds by Corey Graham.
Yes.
He sat and waited, and he's like, this is what they're talking about. When you hear a broadcaster saying this is what they're talking, he's not just talking about what he sees. He sat down with these coaches, and they have an expectation that they have for Dak Prescott and that he has for himself, and he's not meeting that, and there is some tension there, I believe.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, we pointed this out when Tony Romo had to do the game, and it was an impossible situation for Romo because obviously he's the former franchise quarterback, and he did it respectfully, but he kept saying, you got to hit him right there. The processor right now, you have to see these reads. And I think that anyone who's watching the game of football played at such a high level, whether you're young or old, from Tom Brady to Patrick Mahomes, it's easy to now look at a Dak Prescott and be like, that can't just be play calling that is your issue and undermining you. It has to be a lot on you.
I think there's room for both. I think right now what my argument is, neither one of these guys are good enough. I think what Jerry's dealing with and what he's trying to postpone is he knows, and again, when Troy Aikman made the comment about dysfunction, the dysfunction is a coaching staff that, this is my speculation, doesn't believe in this quarterback. Jerry is insisting that they believe in this quarterback and is saying, no, put him in a better position. We'll give him Amari Cooper, call better plays, use him in the running game. And so they cleaned all of that up last night. They used him in the running game. I thought they used Amari Cooper effectively. But Jason Garrett still mismanaged the clock, in my opinion, and still a few times I thought Chris pointed out, I was like, what are the routes are these receivers running? You know, have they given up on the play? But Jerry's trying to postpone a very difficult decision. Ownership and management go through this all the time. Who is it? The personnel? Is it the players? Jerry right now believes, I think, that it's on the coaches. And if I had to choose one, I would fix the coaches first because I don't trust this coaching staff to coach whoever they put in there.
Well, a lot of implicit bias is being exuded from this coaching staff. You ever been in a situation where you want to succeed, but because who you're working with, you're like, they are not up to par? You start pulling against yourself. You start rooting for yourself and yourself only. And I think that's what's happening to this coaching staff, not consciously, that they're saying, I want this to be exposed because we're taking heat for that. I wouldn't doubt that these coaches are saying, well, let's see you go out there and win the game. When that's not the way that they want to approach it, but they're rooting for themselves and they're starting to realize we can't achieve it with you at the quarterback.
Well, you know, and I think about this, if Matt Nagy was coaching this team, if Andy Reid, if Sean Payton was there, how would this offense look? And what about the quarterback? If Patrick Mahomes was with this team, how would this offense be putting up points? Would it be able to be done differently? And maybe Jason Garrett is saying that. Like, I don't know. I can't do it with this guy, Dak. I've said it before here, and I've said it on the show. Dak hasn't impressed me. I mean, he's gotten consistently worse since his rookie year. Is he a franchise quarterback for $25 million or with one of those big deals? I don't think so. This is one of the worst things that can happen to you is you get a quarterback who's just okay.
Yeah.
Because now you're stuck to him. Do they really want to? I think Jerry's old. Okay, he wants another crack. He wants another Super Bowl, and you got to be looking at that window. It's closing. There's no doubt about that. I don't wish that on him. But he's like, I need to win a Super Bowl, and I want to win it now so I can enjoy it. Can I do it with this kid? I think I can, and I think that's the problem.
But I also think, I'm going to defend Jerry in this regard, I think he kind of wants to be innovative here. Everybody else is investing $30 million in a quarterback. Jerry wants to invest $15 and put all the other pieces around, build a complete team. He's damn near got a complete team right now, and he wants to invest $15 in the quarterback and have all the other pieces around it good enough that they can compete for a Super Bowl. The coaching staff is sitting there saying they want it to be easy. Again, because Aaron Rodgers and some of these other quarterbacks they make plays off script. You call the wrong play, they make it right with their ability to be a playmaker. Dak can't do any of that. And that, again, is why I say, Jerry, if you want to stick with this quarterback and you want a $15 million a year quarterback, you better have a $10 million a year head coach.
Well, that's why Jerry Jones has been negotiating in the public with Dak Prescott since week 2. When,
Dak has no leverage, Marcellus.
And that's why he keeps saying, I love that. I love you when you're down because you're going to be down in these negotiations when we get into that room and close that door. So he's negotiating with Dak right now, hometown discount. that is your ceiling right now. So, and Dak is probably going to take the bait because he's like, Jerry's there for me. And with that star on your helmet, being the guy who had it on his helmet for, $15 million is base salary. The perks, the love, the accolade, the reverence, that is another level to that salary.
I don't think it's a bad strategy, though. I really don't.
I don't think it's a bad strategy if what they did last night is sustainable. And I just don't know if it is. It has to be sustainable for this to work because in year one, the reason why Dak Prescott was so successful was because of the running game. Their defense wasn't nearly as good as it is right now, but their running game and how effective they were with Jason Witten and even Dez Bryant, these guys made it. The number one point that I think we missed, Tony Romo was on that sideline. Every time he had a situation, Dak being that he couldn't manage or he had to face or a situation that he had never seen, he could walk to the sideline and had an actual quarterback coach that played every situation and had experienced everything right there at his disposal. He doesn't have that anymore, so he's doing it on his own.
This is the Speak for Yourself podcast. I'm Jason Whitlock. And before the show moves along, I want to tell you today's show is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. Are you hiring, posting your position to job sites, and waiting for the right people to see it? ZipRecruiter knew there was a smarter way, so they built a platform that finds the right job candidates for you. ZipRecruiter learns what you're looking for, identifies people with the right experience, and invites them to apply to your job. These invitations have revolutionized how you find your next hire. In fact, 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. And ZipRecruiter doesn't stop there. They even spotlight the strongest applications you receive so you never miss a great match. The right candidates are out there. ZipRecruiter is how you find them. Businesses of all sizes trust ZipRecruiter for their hiring needs. Right now, my listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/speak. That's ZipRecruiter.com/speak. ZipRecruiter.com/SPEAK. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Now back to the show. Time for some big stories. Whitlock and Wiley, Tony Gonzalez and Greg Jennings are back. Let's return to Philadelphia, where the Eagles' Super Bowl hangover continued last night with a loss to the Cowboys that put any hopes of the playoffs in serious doubt. The Eagles have now lost 3 straight at home, with the offense again struggling to put up points last night. After the game, Carson Wentz didn't hide his feelings about the loss.
I know this one hurt. This one hurt. Obviously, Sunday Night Football, divisional opponent, the Cowboys coming into our home. Really the way we've played the last couple times at home. That's not what we pride ourselves on, and this one hurt.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are figuring out how tough it is to repeat and defend the title. You get everyone's best shot. They started the season out and the offseason very arrogant. They had rediscovered football and were going to show the Patriots you can have fun and you can win. And they were calling everybody out. And they're getting served a big heaping helping of humble pie, and that's what football would do. I think they're done.
I don't think they're done. To your point, I think this is maybe what the doctor ordered, and this might be perfect timing, a place where they thrived last year when no one respected them, to the tune of them going to the Super Bowl in dog masks because we're the underdog, right? Well, right now they've put themselves, unfortunately, in that position once again, and maybe they can climb up out of that hole. But this is an interesting team. As a defender, we used to always say, make them march down the field. Most teams cannot consistently move the chains and still hit pay dirt and score on that same drive. It's just numbers and facts. So this is a 20-20 team. Between the 20s, they'll put up all the empty calorie yardage and numbers, and Carson Wentz is having a better season this year by the numbers than he did last year in the MVP conversation. But they don't put up points, especially at home. They haven't scored more than 21 points at home this year. It's crazy to watch this team, but are they done? No. In the NFC East? No. You lost to the Dallas Cowboys, who caught you when you don't play your best ball at home right now. Things can get corrected in the second half of the season. I expect them.
Yeah, I'm not going to write them off yet, but they are definitely not the team that we saw out there last year. Obviously, I think that goes without saying. Success is hard. Success is, I've seen it. Individual success, team success, When you come back that next year, Michael Strahan said it the best. When you win the Super Bowl, the next year, everybody thinks the reason we won is because of me. And so they show up with that, and that becomes intoxicating. Guys, they drive Jeeps the year before. All of a sudden, they show up in the Mercedes. They're wearing, they go from wearing sweats to wearing, Versace now. I got my boots on, my hat sideways, and it catches up to you. And it's intoxicating. We've all had success. It's easier when you fail, and you got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, we got to get better than this, than it is to say, okay, we got success with Super Bowl champs. You just lose that hunger. I think that's human nature, and I think that's what's going on here. It starts with the head coach. He wrote that book, and it starts with that organization. Let's not celebrate too hard, because if we want to go out there and get it done again, right now, it's not happening. Maybe this loss in front of the national stage can flip that switch, because they got the talent. They got players, and they can turn it around. It's not over yet.
I don't think that the Super Bowl hangover, I'm not a fan of that whole ordeal. I don't think it's a thing. But the Philadelphia Eagles are done. They are flat out done. Next week, they got the Saints. Down in New Orleans, they got the Giants, which is the one of
bye.
Right.
Which is one of two of their last remaining losing teams. The Dallas Cowboys being the second. And they have to go to they have the Redskins, the Rams, and the Saints, mind you, is in New Orleans. The Rams is out here. You got to go again to Washington. I just don't see them they have to win out, basically. If they don't win out,
they're gonna win that division. Yeah.
They're already 2 games behind. I just don't see them pulling this out, especially if they lose next week. It's over. They walked into this season on crutches with their quarterback being out, Alshon Jeffrey being out, a lot of injury-riddled guys on the defense still lingering. I don't see them pulling this out.
Doug Peterson has the biggest ego in coaching right now.
I thought you said Hugh Jackson did, or he just got fired.
Hugh Jackson's not in football. So Doug Peterson's ego is maybe even bigger than Hugh Jackson, because when he had the success, he won the Super Bowl. And if you remember all the things we celebrate, oh man, he's so aggressive, and he's turned the league around. Now everybody goes for it on 4th and 1. And Doug Peterson, everybody wants to be like Doug Peterson. Last night, football is a game for conservative people, conservative coaching. It's a game of field position, back and forth. The guy that's why Marty Schottenheimer won so many regular season games. Chuck Knox used to win regular season games. The guy that plays the field position game. This year, Doug Peterson's hyper-aggressive is biting him in the rear end. Last night, they were down 3-0, had a chance to kick a field goal at the 20-yard line. Oh, we're going to go for it, 4th and 1. That's what we do. They get stopped. End of the first half, super aggressive. Let's call a timeout. Let's get the ball back, blah, blah, blah. Blew up in their face. All that hyper-aggressive stuff that they rolled last year, it's like being hot on a craps table. I've been there.
I see.
The tide will turn. If you stay too long and don't play the percentages, the tide will turn. That's what's happened to this team. Doug Peterson's arrogance, hyper-aggressiveness, pervasive throughout that team, the arrogance, the aggressiveness with their comments and the whole 9 yards. Let's bring in Michael Bennett, let's everybody. It's blowing up in their face.
To that point, I get you. You got to play it by the book when you're in Vegas. The house wins because they respect.
Ride your hot streak, but know when it's over.
Yeah. See, I double down on 12 and split them. And people are like, what are you doing? I win some and I lose more. Yeah. I get it. But here's some numbers that support that it's beyond mindset. Let's just be real. 29th in starting field position. Why does that come up? The teams behind them are the Giants, the Browns, yuck, and then the Steelers, who have a tremendous offense, and they're playing well. You look at them with the slow starts this year, Carson Wentz included. The sack numbers this year, much more than last year. In 7 games, 23 times he's been sacked. Last year, all of last year, 13 games for Carson Wentz, only 28 times. O-line's not the same. Jason Peters has gotten old. He has aged 10 years in the last 2 years because of injuries. So I just look at that as a collective, and what you said, a little of the mojo is gone, in part because the mindset has shifted from last year.
Well, momentum, there's nothing like momentum. I'm telling you, when you can get rolling, we bet on these teams. When you get rolling, when that momentum stops, people start to doubt themselves. Jason Peters, another one. I got my Super Bowl ring. It's done now.
I'm rich.
I don't have to work as hard as I used to. It shows up. I don't care what anybody says. It's intoxicating. Success is tough to deal with.
You heard that? It shows up.
It shows up. It's psychology. It's not just me saying this. This is what psychology says.
I mean, you're talking to somebody who went 15-1 after winning the Super Bowl. with the lockout.
Hold on,
mind
but
you.
y'all lost?
We did lose.
Divisional game?
I mean, we did lose.
I mean,
you want us. You want
Well,
us.
yeah,
So
that's
everybody
good.
has
That's
to repeat.
No, I didn't say repeat because you win a game after you go 15-1 and y'all have 15 guys on IR the year before. Y'all were loaded. What happened?
We lost.
How?
A team came in and beat us. It happens. It happens. When you look at this Philadelphia team, we underestimate the importance of a Frank Wright, of even the quarterback coach. When you're dealing with a young Carson Wentz, this is his 3rd year, and we're saying, hey, you have the keys to the vehicle, you drive it. Yeah, but he was able to drive it with some guys in the passenger seat that he trusted that could alert him of what was ahead. He doesn't have that anymore. Yeah. Doug Peterson is that only guy that he has now.
It's important.
Football to me is like a spouse or whatever. The moment you feel like, oh, I got them figured out, they gonna throw you a curveball and be like, oh, damn, I never seen that before.
How you gonna speak on that?
I was gonna say, I didn't know you was married.
Where'd that come from? You guessing?
No, I'm not guessing. I just feel like I've had some people figure it out. They throw a curveball. All right, welcome back to the show. Whitlock and Wiley, joined by Tony Gonzalez and Greg Jennings. Let's move to Nashville, where the Patriots got blown out by the Titans yesterday, losing 34-10 in a game that Tennessee dominated from start to finish. With the loss, the Patriots actually fall to the 3rd seed in the AFC at 7-3 behind Kansas City and Pittsburgh. And Tom Brady's having one of his worst statistical seasons in years. Listen, guys, I don't think this is a fluke. I don't think this is, hey, one game, they got blown out, blah, blah, blah. This is the 3rd time this season they've lost by double digits. That's only happened 2 other times in the Brady era. Once in 2008 when Matt Castle was their quarterback, and once in 2005 when Brady was the quarterback. This doesn't happen. They are consistently getting outclassed by the opposition. It's happened 3 times. The Patriots, to me, are the 4th best team in the AFC right now, behind the Chiefs, behind the Steelers, and behind the Los Angeles Chargers.
Okay, let's get to a deeper layer than that, because I think that's a little of an exaggeration. How they're getting outclassed has happened 3 times, right? And 2 of those were to his disciples. One, a former player, first time he ever had to coach against a former player. And I think that the tendencies of the New England Patriots get highlighted and exposed when he goes against some of his familiar friends or former players on his staff. Here's how it goes. As a defender, we go into a meeting room and we got to play Tony Gonzalez and the Chiefs or the Falcons. And we get this huge game plan, and all it is really numbers. I mean, they're not even talking about how good a player is. They're talking about formations, and 21 formation, and when Tony's in, and he's lined up on the right hash, left hash, and we're really trying to find this arithmetic to get to a place where we can pre-snap anticipate what this team is going to do. And once the moment of truth comes and the ball's hiked, we're not guessing. We're kind of leaning with our learning. What's happening with the Patriots, and this is crazy to say, Bill Belichick gets out-coached by his own player and his own former staff member because of his tendencies. Think about this. Top offenses in this league this year are Kansas City, Saints, Rams. They have 2 things in common. A quarterback that's tremendous. All of those guys have great quarterbacks. And a running back who's a true dual threat. Patriots don't use their running backs like that. They're going with the old model in the 2000s, late 90s. You put in Sony Michel, and you're like, that's our running back. You put in James White, you're like, that's our catching running back. You put in Todd Gurley, you don't know what you're going to get. You put in Alvin Kamara, you don't know what you're going to get. You put in Mark Ingram now, you don't know what you're going to get. You put in Kareem Hunt, you don't know what you're going to get. Bill Belichick is getting exposed by guys who are not scared of him in those moments. They're reading the tendencies, and it's starting to trickle down to Tom Brady's effectiveness in those games.
I'm not going to even break it down that far. I'm not concerned at all. I'm seriously not going to even go that far because they have, what, 6 games left, 7 games left?
Yeah.
They play four games in their division still. Like, they still got the Jets twice. They got the Bills and the Dolphins. They got the Steelers, and then they got the Minnesota Vikings at Foxborough. I'm not concerned. Yeah, have they given up more points? That's all great. They still got Tom Brady. They still understand how to win their division. And until that changes.
Wild card weekend.
Until
the Patriots will be playing. That's different.
That is.
They're in the dance. Tony, you know,
weekend.
you know, the goal is to get in the dance.
Haven't been wild card weekend in 8 years.
Well, every year we're always saying, "Oh, New England Patriots, they lost it," and everybody. So one day you're gonna be right. Yeah. I know that. So just keep saying, I know that it's coming. Do I think it's gonna be this year? No, and I will never say it until I see it because this team is just too good. They're too well coached. The only thing that concerns me, and it's a big concern, is Rob Gronkowski. If he's healthy, that offense is different. Just look at the numbers when he's in that lineup. It makes everything go smoother. It makes Tom Brady even better. That's what I think is lacking right now is his consistency to be there. But if they're doing what I think they're doing with Khalil Mack over there, just let's keep this kid healthy. Let's get him. We'll hold him out. And once they hit the playoffs, they're going to hit it running again. I would tell them, are you going to be surprised if New England plays in the AFC Championship game again? Would you be surprised?
Not surprised, but let's be real. If the trajectory is looking a little different, a little more difficult. Tom Brady, in his last 3 games, 2 of them, no touchdowns. You can say it's because of Gronkowski and missing games, but you're starting to realize that teams are attacking him, and you're starting to see symptoms beyond just Gronkowski's injury, or it's affecting Tom Brady's play to a degree. And in the game of inches, that's all another team needs is to not think that you're the mighty Patriots anymore. You're not invincible like before.
Tennessee's defensive front whipped the offensive line of the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
That's not tendencies. That's just Darrell Casey and better personnel for the Tennessee Titans manhandling an offensive line that just isn't as strong as it used to be, blocking for a quarterback that's older than he used to be. And I do think having Gronkowski will help. There's just no denying. You put a Hall of Fame tight end out there, that's Brady's security blanket. But if they're in wild card weekend and home field goes through Kansas City or Pittsburgh, that's a different animal for New England. And again, they'll win their division. There's no question about it. But wild card weekend and the Chiefs or somebody on the road, I think could be a problem. I want to transition to another thing that happened in the game. After the game, former Patriot and current Titans running back Dion Lewis has some choice words for his old team.
I played there, so I know those guys, and I know that if you be physical with them and let them have it, they'll fold. Yeah, it's a real sweet win, especially when you used to be there and they didn't want to bring you back. So definitely real sweet. I'm happy my teammates came out and played, and I love these guys.
So it is a little personal.
Hell yeah, it's personal. That's what happens when you go cheap. You get your ass kicked.
I love it. Message.
Do we read anything into that little cheap comment? I do. I really do, because it's not a direct shot at Tom Brady, but I think it's a tiny shot at Tom Brady in terms of the only reason you can call the Patriots cheap is because Tom Brady has always played for less money than what he's worth. And that has set a tone to me and allowed Belichick to discard people over money. Hey, no one here gets their true market value. We don't pay for anybody. We don't even pay for Tom Brady. Look at all the guys making more money than him. And so I think that cheap comment is just a tiny little shot at, like, Brady sets a bad tone. They too frugal with their money there in New England. That's why I'm not there.
Hey, every culture needs enforcers, and there's no greater enforcer of the Patriot way than Tom Brady saying, I'm going to close the vault. And I'm not even going to get inside of it. Like, the vault's going to be there. I'm going to stand on the outside. Give me what you want, hometown discount. Who on that roster could then go up to Mr. Kraft and say anything? It was a direct shot at Tom Brady and that culture. It's funny that I'm goofy. All right, I'm a silly dude. I'm looking at that video, and all I see is a Turkish chain, right? And he talking about being cheap. You know how much a Turkish is? That's like $19 a pound in the swap meet. You ain't been there lately. But that ain't the moment when you call somebody cheap and you got on the cheap chain. That said, I'm just saying, dog, you got to know what you wearing before you go there. This is an attack of the Patriots, and at the same time, if I'm the Patriots, I just laugh. Yeah. Because it's working, and it's always going to work if you have the leader of your team on board with this.
Yeah, 100% with you on that last part. This is who they are. I kind of feel like Bill Belichick, he just flat out gets it. If I don't have to pay these guys top dollar, what I'm doing with bringing them in on a lesser value, I'm suppressing their ego as well. Because the more money I give you, the more ego you come in here with. The less money I give you, the more humble you come in saying, well, I mean, I guess I got to kind of do what I need to do.
Right.
And that, it works for them. That's who they are.
Yeah, but It works. I think Tom Brady had his morning talk show today, and he said, look, they asked him about that, and he said the same thing. Yeah, he's going to be a little upset. Anytime you go against your former teammate, you're going to take shots. But it's a definite shot. But what do they care? They got rings. Dion has a ring, doesn't he? That cheap way got you a ring. You know, and probably got you paid in free agency. So I don't know. I get why he's doing it, but at the same time, it makes no sense.
I'll flip a question for you. You said earlier about Jerry Jones. Would he rather get out the way and win a Super Bowl or stay in the way and not win one? Would you go to the Patriots and take less money? I mean, suppress Hall of Fame tight end money because you're going to go get a chance for a ring. Would you have done it?
Well, there's two parts. There's two answers because I've asked myself this question a lot. Now, it depends on when I'm at the beginning of my career, when I need the cash, or towards the end of my career, absolutely I would do it. Okay. Now, at the beginning, no way. And that's why I say those guys out there, if you play for them and it's your first crack, if your first bite at the apple, and they don't want to pay you, say bye-bye. But if it's on your second contract, third contract, yeah, go there. Give them the discount. Go win a ring. What's more important than that?
You're a bigger man than me. Never, ever.
All right, Whitlock and Wiley, Tony Gonzalez and Greg Jennings are back. Let's stay right here in Los Angeles, where the Rams held on to beat the Seahawks yesterday with a defensive stand late in the fourth quarter. The game was back and forth all day, but the Rams made a lot of dumb decisions with 10 penalties for over 100 yards, including 2 on Dante Fowler that kept Seahawks touchdown drives alive. The stupidity continued after the game when Aaron Donald tried to start a fight with Seattle's Justin Britt. All right, this has been my concern and problem with the Rams all season, all offseason. The belief from Les Snead to Wade Phillips to Sean McVay, we can coach everybody. Hey, Dante Fowler, he's a problem child in Jacksonville. Bring him here. He's a problem in college. Bring him here. We got him. Ndamukong Suh doesn't play hard almost anywhere. Takes plays off. Bad attitude. Oh, we got Marcus Peters, headache in Kansas City. Oh, bring him here. We got him. And eventually, you keep throwing in bad apple after bad apple after bad apple, the culture turns bad. And I'm looking at Aaron Donald, one of the greatest players in the league, if not the greatest player in the league, always has carried himself with great class as a dominant player. This guy's going to try to start a fight after the end of the game. The culture's off. The Rams have looked sloppy for 3 weeks. They got away with one here yesterday when the Seattle Seahawks basically rolled out a high school offense. They played an extra tackle at tight end and just ran the ball because the talent disparity is so far apart. And they almost beat the Rams with it because the Rams are sloppy. They got a sloppy culture.
Ooh, that is, man, grossly exaggerated right there. I mean, grossly, like, whoa, you're going to get in trouble saying stuff like that. When the last time you had a fight? Because I'm not a fighter. I had a fight in 11th grade last time I had a fight.
College.
Yeah, I can tell. We sound like that.
Yeah.
Because that ain't how you're going to have a fight. If you're going to have a fight, first thing you're going to do is just get out there and go rumble. You're not going to say, oh, yeah, I forgot my helmet. Go back. And then you're not going to come up to him and say, I'm ready to fight. Hold us back. I grab your face mask. You swing. This is just passion breweth over, as they would say. And he's justified. You know why? Yo, I'm on a play, the picked up or the fumble running down the sideline. He's out of bounds. And then, wow, he pushed him to send a message. Why can't I respond to that message without it being an indictment on our culture? I just think
game's over, Marcellus.
Look, in the moment, I just got to remind you, I'm going to see you twice a year, every year, right? We in the same division, bro.
Marcellus,
let me set some tones out here.
Dante Fowler gave him 2 touchdowns with stupidity yesterday.
He also gave him a sack forced fumble that turned into...
He gave the other team 2 touchdowns.
And he also helped the Rams as well score some points as well with the sack forced fumble and another sack.
They played a dumb game and nearly lost to a team that came in on a stretcher and said, you know what? We so scared of y'all, we put an extra offensive lineman out here.
That's tough. I don't see it that way. Seattle's always going to play the Rams tough.
I'm not worried about their maturity at all. I think when you look at Jared Goff and Todd Gurley, these are their headliners. And even Aaron Darnold. This is uncharacteristic of Aaron Darnold. Obviously, he was boiling over. Obviously. And you have to have experienced something like that for it to make sense to anyone. You don't just – it was more than just that. I'm convinced it was more than just that. I know
exactly what – there was no mystery.
Yeah, it was –
Seattle lined up their offensive line and jammed it down Aaron Donald's throat all game. That's what he was frustrated about.
And they still went out there and had a great game, and these 2.5 sacks between him and Suh.
When you line up and somebody 35 times is shoving it down your throat, I've been on the other side of
I've
them
been
in
there.
high school and college.
Nobody
it's
wants
not
that.
a pretty picture.
You're right. Nobody wants that.
I don't. Do I question their maturity? Yeah, I'm going to agree with you a little bit now. I'm going to say, yeah, Dante Fowler, you like Marcus Peters, those guys in that locker room, you know, it is a cultural thing. Is it going to hurt them? I don't think so. I don't think it's really going to hurt them as a team. I think that's one of those. We've all been in those situations. And we've probably said it. I'm sure we've said it. Like, you know what? If I see you out in the street, if I promise you, and then you calm down after the game's over. But in the heat of the moment, you really want to fight him after the game. I want to see you.
Tony.
But you don't do that. I think that was you don't do that. And I hope it doesn't hurt him going forward. If I'm the coach, I'm definitely going to address this and be like, look, we got to get our stuff together because we have a Super Bowl team. Let's not ruin this thing.
Weren't you there in 1998 in Kansas City? The Chiefs, the year before in '97, had a great team, great defense. Added Chester McLaughlin, Wayne Simmons.
Oh my, Wayne
and
Simmons.
the whole culture on that team changed.
Yeah.
Very sloppy.
You are absolutely right about that, and it did. It changed everything. We went 13-3. We were supposed, and we got even better. We went out and got Chester McLaughlin. We were supposed to get even better, but those guys, the way they did things, it was different than the way we did it when we had that winning season, and it can affect you. But like I said, I feel like this team is so talented from top to bottom that I don't know if it can affect them this year. Now, next year, maybe it could affect them.
Let's not make an indictment on their emotional maturity, especially Aaron Donald. 2.5 sacks, and then you're going against a guy who's cheap shot. And you look at what led to him saying, you know what, I'm going to see you in the middle of Figueroa after this. Because this is what happens when you have a guy I'm out of bounds, bruh. Watch this. Whoa! Yeah. Now, that could end ugly if I'm Aaron Donald.
He just did this.
Yes, he did, but
it's
he didn't
over
punch
with
him.
now.
He
It's over with now. That's
Whitlock,
it.
when you got to see somebody twice a year and we're going to be in the trenches where no one dares watch, no one dares concern themselves, I got to be my own Marshall. I got to be
That's
my
what
own.
he did here during the game.
And he going to let you know, I'm seeing you again. Don't try to step up, scrub, because I'm Aaron Donald out here to do bigger things.
Aaron Donald's a nice guy.
Right.
I can tell right there.
Yeah.
That's something I think I would do. Like, you pushed me like that, and then he went and just grabbed him, though. He didn't want to fight him. He wasn't trying to do anything. He just wanted to grab him, and it looked like he was hugging him almost.
But you have this moment during the game. The refs throw flags, the whole nine.
Offsetting penalty, so it didn't hurt anybody.
It's over. How are you still? The reason why you're thinking about it after the game is because despite your 2.5 sacks, the Seattle Seahawks lined up and just marched the ball downfield with their running game, a very physical game. I'm not saying Aaron Donald's still the best player in football, best defensive player, kicked this guy's butt in pass protection. But in that running game, he took one.
Hold on.
And he's still frustrated. That's why after the game, he's looking for get back.
Clean your closet out right now on air in front of the entire world about your level of pettiness. Because think about this. I know I am like this. If someone of my equal, we got a little moment like that, hey, man, chill out, and it's over because we both have a healthy respect for each other's game. But when a subordinate, when someone lesser than you does that, guess what? And admit it, we're like, someone has never stepped to you, and you're like, you're not even on my level. You keep reminding them that.
Marcellus, I'm going to just tell you the difference between you and I. This is where the Ball State and Columbia come out. There's the elite perspective, and then there's, I don't think I'm better than anybody. I really don't.
You don't think you're better at talking this than anybody?
I know I'm better than you.
This dude, I tell you, boy, this is what I got to work with. That's why I'm going to fight you at the end of this show to set the tone for the next.
All right, thank you, Tony. Thanks, Greg. All right, welcome back to the show, Whitlock and Wiley. We're joined now by NBA champion Dante Jones. Let's move to the NBA, where the Carmelo Anthony experiment in Houston appears to be coming to an end. While the team has denied reports they are planning to waive him, Melo missed the last 2 Rockets games with an undisclosed illness, and reportedly Melo's teammates believe he has played his final game with the team. Yesterday, Chris Paul was asked about the situation.
Melo has been great here, you know what I mean? That's like a brother to me, you know what I mean? So I don't know what's being said or whatnot, but Melo has been great, working hard every day, you know what I mean? So we'll see what happens.
He can be part of helping put this team in the right direction.
Man, Melo is a future Hall of Famer, you know what I mean? And that's me saying that, and that's knowing that. So, like I said, we'll see what happens.
Love the has been. Has been great. I think that was the key word there in Chris Paul's comments. Melo's done.
In the NBA?
In Houston. He's done in Houston, and his legacy is taking a ding, as I tried to tell you last week. He's again, loser, when you think of Melo, and I'm not calling him a loser, but people will think of him and his inability to win anything in the NBA. It will not, he's got a little Dwight Howard tends to him. People don't want him, don't think he's a part of a winning equation. One of your best friends, Chris Paul, basically is letting you go there in Houston.
You put that on Chris?
Well, if he wanted to stand up, you see Dwayne Wade all over Twitter. Everybody caping up for Melo. I didn't see no cape on Chris Paul's back.
He just
has
said it.
been great. Has been.
Yes,
Has been.
Like, with us, he has been great.
Has been.
Like, look how you trying to just butcher the English language.
Has been. That's what he said. He
yeah,
said
but he
has
was talking
been.
about
For us.
For us.
Right.
Like, the has not in the past of another team and him being on their roster, but with us. Look, for those people who are saying it's things like you're saying, he's a loser, taking shots at Carmelo, Grandma always said, can't make sense out of nonsense. And that's nonsense. People are that lost in the NBA world that you don't respect this guy for what he has done as a collective. I think now this is going to make him a sympathetic figure to those same knuckleheads who think that Carmelo has not contributed tremendously to the game of basketball and in winning fashions. Look, I understand team record is one thing, we're going to always throw that on Carmelo's legacy, but it's very unfortunate when you look at a guy like this, who I think right now is being scapegoated to the tune of Dwayne Wade, like you said, going out there and saying, hey, man, y'all just going to put all this, trying to make my guy Carmelo Anthony the fall guy, huh? Man, y'all need to stop. That's the easy way out instead of addressing what the real problem is. And now I'll go to Dante. Please tell us what's
So we didn't say the same thing for Dwayne Wade last year with his experiment with Chicago and Cleveland, because it's not going to take a ding on his legacy because he went back to Miami and now everything is all good with Dwayne Wade right now. Him and Carmelo Anthony are both going to be first ballot Hall of Famers. Yes, small setbacks in your career do not favor well, and sometimes people tend to be in that moment and take that for granted.
Dante.
But Melo is one of the best scorers of all time.
Say that.
He's a great teammate because he's been on one of my teammates. And he is an example. Those two situations for both players are the example of how fit works in the NBA. Not everybody works on every team. Case in point, Melo, D-Wade. If you put Steph Curry on every team, he's not going to work on every team.
How can you keep talking about D-Wade? The man single-handedly won a title in Miami. He won 2 other titles.
Single-handedly?
Single-handedly.
Dwayne Wade did that?
Shaq on his back and everybody. I was there.
The most powerful force of all time. He carried Shaq?
Absolutely.
For a series, maybe, but not for a year. You're out of control. For 7 games, yes, you can carry somebody for 7 games.
You can't put Melo on the same platform as Dwayne Wade.
But you still had to prepare for Shaquille O'Neal every game for what, 25 and 15 or 30 and 15? Yeah, he still was #1 on the scouting report. Did Dwayne Wade have great games? Yes, but he was a great #2 to Shaq.
You can't put Wade, who always has been a better player than Carmelo Anthony, was a real contender
I'm not
for
comparing
MVP.
the two.
Again,
What I'm saying
Dwayne
is
Wade
there's an example of the wrong fit for players. And Houston was the wrong fit. OKC was the wrong fit.
Well, I know that we're down 2. 2 teams have diagnosed.
But listen, we got
2 teams
got
have
28
diagnosed
we got 20
Carmelo
other
as the
teams.
cancer, and they just cut him out.
They should have never called him a cancer. They should never called him a cancer, and I don't think they ever will.
They treated him like
front
one.
offices
They cut
and
him
coaches
out.
never take responsibility for what's going on with their team, and it's the wrong fit. I don't think D'Antoni and the organization is not going to say, you know what, we made a mistake and we didn't get it right here. They'll point out a player. He should not be the scapegoat for the Rockets' struggles right now. Nobody's shooting well. They're not playing defense. They're struggling as a team. Melo is not the bulk of that team. No, by no means. He should not be singled out right now.
No, that's messed up, Whitlock. Look, you know the defense is taking a hit from being 7th ranked last year to what are they now, 24? And then you talk about losing a defensive-minded coach and on their coaching staff. You switch out Luke Bahamute and Trevor Ariza, and then bring in Carmelo and say, you know what, we're going to run the same offense, same philosophy, except we're not the same team. I think that has to come back to coaching, like Dwayne Wade said.
Only one guy's getting cut.
It's the
The
responsibility.
other 2 got out of town.
One
Deion
guy's
Lewis style
getting
because they didn't
cut,
pay him.
and they let him go in OKC. OKC paid him 20-some-odd million just to go away. When they pay you $20 million just to go away, there's a problem. And then when your new team only cost them $2 million, they could keep you. It only cost you $2 million. And apparently they've decided, oh, we got to get rid
And
of
you're
it.
assessing the Houston Rockets and OKC Thunder as these championship franchises that got basketball right. Like, they make no mistakes.
Okay,
The same
we'll
team
do
that
this.
had James
We'll do
Harden,
this.
and all they had to do was give him $4 million, and he would still be in OKC, but they didn't even do that.
We'll do this,
Come on, man.
Marcellus.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Let's see who raises their hand to take Carmelo next. Let's see if Golden State, all it is $2 million. Let's see if the Lakers, let's see if the Denver Nuggets.
I bet there will be somebody that takes
A contender
A
that
contender
raises
will
their
be, yes.
hand to take Carmelo on.
Against all your hate that you're putting
That's
out
not
there
hate.
right
No,
now.
I'm just
that's
facting.
gonna
I'm just facting. These are just
Contender will
facts.
step up to take Carmelo Anthony and find a coach with a scheme to be able to magnify his talents. I think somebody will pick up Carmelo.
You know who's
Anthony.
gonna pick him up? Three's Company, the Ball Hogs, one of these big
unfair.
three teams. That's what
Ice Cube
That's unfair.
at? Ice Cube.
Ice Cube right now is in negotiation. Got 150,000. Carmelo, come play in the big three.
You took one of the
need
best
the money.
scorers of all time, and you tried to put him in the role of great role players like Trevor Ariza and Luke Bamute. That's unfair. He cannot do what they do. And they can't do what he does on a high level. So you can't compare those two and take the struggles because those guys are not there. No.
And Dante played for like 4 of those teams, so let me talk about Dante.
I ain't played for none of the ones you listed.
Let's move to Philadelphia very quickly, where the Sixers added a huge piece over the weekend, acquiring Jimmy Butler, who's been trying to force his way out of Minnesota all year. Butler has a history of not playing very well with others, but both Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid say they're excited to play alongside Butler. I think Ben Simmons is more excited than Joel Embiid. I expect Butler and Embiid to clash a bit here. I think Joel Embiid's just another version of Karl Anthony Towns, and Jimmy Butler will not be, he's not going to have it. Joel's a little immature, loves social media, not really about the basketball life in a way that I think Jimmy Butler's going to respect.
Interesting. I don't expect any clash. If you force me to say which one may have some adjustments to make, I thought it would be Ben Simmons because of the complexion of his production, as we say it. Julius Peppers, people used to always say this about him. Doesn't look like he's really trying hard. And you're like, because he's so damn skilled, it just comes easy to him. There's some of that with Ben Simmons where you're like, you're trying to check the level of investment based on how he reacts and responds on the court. But I think Jimmy Butler gets it off the court with Joel Embiid. Jimmy Butler lives a good life off the court, too. Hollywood, whatever you want to call it. Like, he's not that guy. He's just like, show me dog heart on the court. And I think both guys will.
Right, I think him and Joel Embiid are more alike than you think, and they both are super competitive, and they want problems at all times, and they want to dominate the game of basketball. All Jimmy Butler wanted to get paid fairly for his services, and he wanted to win, and he wanted to play with people that wanted to win. These kids want to win. These kids want the responsibility of being in a winning organization, and they want championships, and I think they'll fit.
My favorite segment. We about to get antisocial, Marcellus.
You always antisocial. We about to get there. He has been antisocial.
All right, we got our man Darnell Smith. Warren
What
Central,
up?
best and brightest.
What it up? What it up?
We won the playoff game on Friday.
Going to semi-state this Friday, undefeated season. One more big game, man. We
Nationally
good.
ranked. All right, Darnell, what's popping out there on them Twitter streets?
All right, man. We're going to start with an ugly game over the weekend. The Raiders lost to the Chargers 20-6. Not a big surprise there. They've been terrible all year. But what is surprising is what this reporter overheard after the game. Check this out. One Raiders veteran to another on his way out of the locker room passed 3 reporters, quote, "I got to get the bleep out of here." All right, guys, we've all played for bad teams here. So do you guys blame this angry Raiders player?
Well, you guys got more experience playing for bad teams, Ball State and stuff like that.
Columbia, man, you can't talk. You can't talk.
You know what? Part of this I don't like. He overheard as the guys walking out of the locker room. And again, this probably isn't the case because I'm sure the reporter heard it and knew the context, but I just got to get out of this locker room right now. I just got to get out of here. I need to get away from this for a moment. Does he mean I need to get away from the Raiders completely? And if so, I don't even know if that's that much of an original thought. That happens to players throughout the season from time to time.
Absolutely. It's one of the symptoms of losing. You just want to get out. You just want to get away from it. Nobody's inviting that in. You never know what it could be. It could be Mark Davis is coming down. He's like, man, I got to get out of here because I don't even want to deal with whatever comes from that. And that's still not as bad as this sounds like. Context matters. It could be one of your teammates. And every time I've been on a losing team, we always had a barker. A dude who come in there, hey, man, y'all know what? Everybody needs to step it up. And then you're like, man, I can do it. I don't even want to deal with this. Like, we already got our butts whooped. I don't need this emotional beating coming from you. And it's all rah-rah, and it's not going to help us score more points. So I don't know that context, so I won't go in on this.
I'm going to give this some Twitter.
Yeah,
I'm going to give this some Twitter.
Put some names on it.
Just a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Darnell, what's next?
All right, moving on to another bad game. Marcellus, you're going to love this one. The Jets got crushed by Matt Barkley and the Bills yesterday.
By who? By where?
Matt Barkley, your Bills.
Mafia.
41-10. Jets safety Jamal Adams said his team didn't quit, but Twitter thought otherwise, where Jets quit was trending for most of the day, and a lot of people started questioning their head coach, Todd Bowles. All right, y'all, don't forget that Sam Darnold didn't play here, but do y'all agree with Twitter that the team has quit on Bowles?
Yeah, a little caveat. Oh, Sam Darnold didn't play there. Look at him.
Yeah, you gotta remember that.
We take full advantage of all that. First of all, don't mess with no Bills Mafia. That's how we roll. They did not quit. We made it look like they quit. That's how good we are right now. Bills Mafia, this is crazy. Got to give a shout out to my big boy, Damian Woody. We had a little back and forth on this. Bills, Jets, laughing at it. The Bills in the last month, calendar month, they didn't have a lead in one of those ball games, but then they play the Jets and they're up 31-3 at half. I don't know what that is. Let's just say every game, every given Sunday, any given Sunday, things can change. But I have not seen that much of a complexion change in a long time. It looks like these guys are tapped out.
Do NFL players ever quit? Can you see that?
No, we don't quit. We're incentivized by the non-guaranteed nature of the sport because of injury. The next play could be your last forever because of contract status and just status in the league. You're always auditioning in the NFL. That camera's always on for the team you're playing for and the other teams you may play for. So I've never seen quitting as a collective.
What's next, Darnell?
All right, y'all. There was actually some good football play yesterday, too. The Redskins beat the Bucs and have continued their surprising dominance atop their division. Our buddy Clay Travis is just as shocked as the rest of us, tweeting, wild and unbelievable stat. Washington is in sole possession of first place in the NFC East in Week 10 for the first time since 1991.
Wow.
But that's not the only surprise in the NFC. The Bears beat up on the Lions yesterday to stay in first place in the NFC North, leading one of their reporters to tweet, it's possible, and I know this might be controversial, that the Chicago Bears are good at football. Nobody thought either of these teams would do much this year. So, guys, which bandwagon are you ready to jump on, Redskins or Bears?
Wow, this is a little bit of a tough question for me. I'm friends with Alex Smith. The Redskins are having success.
Do your job up here, man.
Yesterday I was like, Mitch Trubisky, maybe he's good.
What do you think that is good? Oh, when he threw 6 touchdowns in one game, you didn't think he may be good?
Fluke. Thought it was a fluke. And so, they got Khalil Mack. They got a defense, and maybe Mitch Trubisky is good.
I'm not jumping on either one of these bandwagons being real. Bring the hydrogen peroxide if I am, because I'm falling off, because these teams are not long for success. I like the Bears more than I like the Redskins, which is the question. I would go with the Bears. At the quarterback position, they take greater risk, and right now they're having tremendous success with a young quarterback. And Tariq Cohen, they have players out there that can get the ball in the end zone. I like the Bears, man. They're sneaky good this year.
In the same division with the Vikings and the Packers, though, where the Redskins are in an easier division, in my opinion.
Good point. Khalil Mack is out there creating havoc. He came back yesterday, got another sack. The division argument is hard to counter, except I'm saying which one can make more impact in terms of making the playoffs and doing something. Redskins will get in NFC East. Okay, that's great. I don't see much of that team. The Bears get in there, that's a tough out. You're going to know you've been in a fight.
All right, Darnell, last but not least.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was watching First Thing First this morning, and our guy Chris Carter had a very interesting take and some high praise on Baker Mayfield. Take a listen.
What Baker has done at this point in the season, still having his confidence, they fired the offensive coordinator, they fired the head coach. They asked him, how'd you feel this morning? I felt like things was getting ready to get pretty good. That right there is a star in the making. It's kind of like Johnny Manziel, but he can actually play.
All right, Whitlock, I know you said the Browns were cursed in the past. You think Baker actually bucked the trend?
Listen, I like Chris's take, but I watched all of that game, and that was not my takeaway. The thing I was overwhelmed with was that I feel like Dan Quinn and the Atlanta Falcons are in over their heads. There's a coaching problem in Atlanta. for them to be this bad. They had gone on a nice little streak, but not against really good teams. And to get the doors beat off of them by the Browns with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, and that offense made no sense. So I was more coming away thinking about the Falcons than how special Baker or Mayfield looked.
Great points. Didn't even consider that, but I'm respecting Baker Mayfield. 13 straight completions, 3 touchdowns, and then the moxie. Like, it's almost like Cleveland went through puberty, and it was a long process. Pimples ugly, nobody wanted to touch, and then it came out looking way better. They dusted them off pretty fast this year. 3 wins now, got a win already under Greg Williams. They have dusted this franchise off pretty fast, and it's because of the moxie of Baker Mayfield.
Look, if they end up winning 5-6 games this year, Greg Williams may keep that job. Who knows? Uncle Jimmy's here to help us talk about our approval ratings presented by Geico for Jerry Jones. All right.
Oh, my God. What is...
Uncle Jimmy, what is this?
What is going on?
You an astronaut now, I guess?
What do you mean, what is this?
Take the helmet off so we can hear you.
Yeah, was the helmet in budget? I mean, look like that killed the budget there. Sir, respect, sir.
What is this?
What do you mean, what is this? What does it look like?
It looks like
here, man.
Reynolds wrap.
Oh, now we all got jokes.
Rotisserie Jimmy.
When you saw the sign that said need another 7 astronauts, what did you think?
I wasn't thinking of you. We're going to ignore the astronaut uniform.
And why is the chain out on the Reynolds wrap? Like, can you at least tuck it in, show some respect to NASA?
Well, you know what?
NASA?
All right.
We got to keep it moving. We got to keep it moving. We got to show our highlight from earlier in the show, our discussion about Jerry Jones. Jerry's trying to postpone a very difficult decision. Is it the personnel? Is it the players? If I had to choose one, I would fix the coaches first because I don't trust this coaching staff to coach whoever they put in there.
Not the first time we've seen this. No shots at Kobe Bryant, but there was a moment of truth for Kobe Bryant in his young career, him and Shaq having their issues. And I remember hearing the statement, do you want to win or do you want to be the reason we win? And there's a subtle difference. And it seems like Jerry Jones has shown that I want to be the reason we win because he went through winning 3 or 4 Super Bowls with Jimmy Johnson. He won 2 with Jimmy. And Jimmy's like, this is perfect. And Jerry's like, it'd be better if you say my name. It'd be better if you give me some credit. It'd be better if you just respect the other name on the check. And I still think that he is living in that mental space. Like, I have to be part of this reason, a large part of us winning.
All right, Uncle Jimmy, what do you think of our conversation about Jerry Jones?
Once again, I think both of you possess a hell of a set of you got a nice set of galls. Okay, can I put it like that?
What?
First of all, man, how dare either one of you to sit up here and question Jerry Jones? Jerry Jones is a lion.
Is a lion?
He's a lion. You know what that means? Lions don't lose sleep over the consideration of sheep.
Oh, you
now,
calling us
got
sheep?
that?
We sheep.
You got that.
You must have saw my Dallas year, huh?
You got that, right?
Chill out, though.
You know what I mean? For real, man, real talk. Man, let me explain to you, man. Jerry Jones is a billionaire. Okay, you know, I'm an aspiring billionaire. So, you know, billionaire to billionaire, you know, it just ain't good business for us to talk ill about one another. You understand what I'm saying?
Is that what you are?
So therefore, I've been sent here from powers from beyond to object to this whole conversation.
Perspiring?
That too. Mr. Funny Man with the silk socks.
Who sent you here? 7-Eleven, Kroger's, Reynolds Wrap? I mean, the Reynolds Wrap company sent you here?
I'm here from the same group of people that made y'all halfway get into the playoffs at Ball State. You know, like you kind of halfway not a virgin?
Oh, whoa. I'm about to get fired.
They're the same people.
On a Monday. I got a whole week of check I still need to
Hold
get.
it. We got to get to our actual approval ratings before we get out of here. I have Jerry at GOAT status at an 82.
Oh,
that's my nephew.
Oh.
Job performance
Took
20.
him a while.
All-time greatness, 22.
Yes.
Character, 16.
Yes.
Authenticity, a 24 for a total
Yes.
of 82. The only, I'm a little down on character. Jay's a little shady like myself. A little shady like me.
Right. It's easy
86.
to identify it because you're like-minded
Yeah.
in that way. I'm the same way. I got a lower character than y'all think. Respect. We are the same in our numbers except authenticity. I don't have him at GOAT status because of what I said earlier in that clip. He doesn't want to win at all costs, but he projects that. He says that, but his actions don't align with those words. So that difference of 6 right there in authenticity between you and I is the reason why I don't have him.
Hold
at
on,
GOAT.
you don't think he wants to win at all costs?
No.
How about in comparison to other NFL owners, how bad does Jerry want to win?
Hold on, how about if I interject something that ain't neither one of y'all talking about, because y'all didn't let me finish what I had to say. But let me just say this here to you. I got nothing but love for Jerry Jones. You understand me? I ain't got nothing but love for Jerry Jones. See, one time, man, I was down in Dallas, man, back in the day, man, and I'm hanging out over there, man, and they was profiling me. And they profiled me, ended up picking up this little case. And, it was,
You picked up a little case?
I picked up a little
That ain't
case.
how
I
it
had to
usually
get the
happens.
hell up out of there, man. Just a little misunderstanding between me and, it was an invitation.
We got to go. We're out of time. We'll hear about your arrest in Dallas later.
Yeah, way later.
That's it for us.